So let's say I want to cut this one now. And one thing to remember is here I can cut these two at the same location of the table. So what I want to go ahead and do is actually duplicate this middle operation. I kind of mentioned earlier that it's not a good idea to duplicate the first and the last. And the reason for that is we have already inbuilt in the setup, it's approach and return positions. That means it starts from home in the first operation, and the last operation, it ends on the home position. So I wouldn't like you to duplicate those because you're going to be going back to the home every time you duplicate the first or the last operation.
Just a question with that last assisted geometry we did. Is it best to sort of break them down into small geometries like that one is there? Or would it be better to then continue that one down the next phase and do essentially as many as you can in one go? So like to do as many cuts down that vertical face as possible, or to sort of come in and do little segments at a time?
I see. So I think here you have this cut here, then the next one, maybe you could consider doing this face, making an assist geometry. If they're in line with each other, yeah, then you can have like a giant rectangle that covers these two faces if they're in the same plane. And then the next geometry might be, doing this cut here, 1, 2, 3, 4, coming out.
Yep. So it is better to break it down to sort of smaller segments. Don't try and run it as far as you can in one go.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Only because you might end up getting filleted corners as the wire is changing speed.
Yeah.
There is also an option for you to actually use the assist geometry and make it one single surface by, how you have done here, by kind of extending it out of the surface. Yep. If you wanted to, you could actually go ahead and extend that, come down, out maybe by 100, and then go back in.
Okay, right.
That, and then come out again, down, and follow that.
And that would just like reduce the amount of steps required then in this process?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So then what we can do here is, if we go to this next operation, we can go ahead and duplicate it. And that's just going right-click, copy, and then right-click, paste. So we see a middle operation 1, middle operation 2 here. I want this to be more up there, so just drag to order the table rotations. And then I'm going to go ahead and we can just leave them as they are. Sometimes you might say, actually, I want a duplicate of the E2 equals 0. So what you might want to do is, for example, if I wanted this operation as E2 equals 0 and not 90, I'm going to go ahead and just go rename. Take that into E2 equals 0. And then in setup, here it says E2 is 90. I'm just going to go ahead and change that to 0. And make sure you click out of it. So you see that we now have 2 operations at E2 equals 0. Then the next one is E2 equals 90.